The Village of Addison recently became a partner with the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative. It is an amazing resource for families, not just with small children, but all the families here in Addison. I'm here with Mary Haley, the project director, and Becky McFarland, another one of the partner agencies from the Dupage County Health Department, here to tell us about it. We're going to be doing a recurring segment because there, from what I understand, Mary, are 50 partner agencies.
That's correct. We've got about 50 partner agencies that are a part of the collaborative.
Now, when I hear Early Childhood Collaborative, and when the village was first talked to about this, I thought of preschool, and it's far more than that. So tell us a little bit in the 15-second elevator version what the Early Childhood Collaborative is and how long it's been going on.
I will, and first of all, thanks for having us on today.
Oh, you're welcome.
We really appreciate this. As you said, the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative has more than 50 partner organizations that are working together to support families with children that are newborn to 5 years old. But because it's so tough to raise families in the stressful world today, we make sure that we have services that support families more broadly. So there are services such as employment readiness and financial literacy and quality medical services. So it's broader than simply the early childhood focus.
Mm-hmm. So from what I understand, this is more of a network. It's not necessarily that someone has to come, for instance, to your office to ask for help. But if they went to the Dupage County Health Department or one of the other agencies, that's a signal to start communicating amongst one another.
Yep. I serve as the anchor, really, for all of the partner organizations. And what we're seeking to do is build strong relationships between all of the partners so that we all know the scope of services we each provide, and that we can, in a really close and warm handoff, make sure that when we have families that come to us needing some support, we're handing families off or connecting families with each other, not with an agency. We're connecting families with people with whom we work and with whom we've got great relationships.
Now, is this part of School District 4?
It is absolutely part of School District 4, or better put, School District 4 is a core part of the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative. So of the 50 or so partners we have, the collaborative, which started about 4 or 5 years ago, was originally started by the Addison School District, along with some partners like Metropolitan Family Services, YWCA of Chicago, the Easter Seals, the Addison Library, but we work very closely with the Addison School District.
And how is the collaborative funded?
The collaborative is currently funded by the Dupage Foundation.
Okay. Bright
and Early Initiative. So we have support from that organization, and we have for about 3 years. And prior to that, the organization was really funded by the partner organizations through the donation of their in-kind time and effort.
Mm-hmm. And is this something that's unique? Do most communities have something like this?
That is a great question. A lot of communities have started to develop early childhood collaboratives in the last several years. One of the pioneers in this was the Oak Park community, but the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative has really been one of the leaders in forming this type of collaborative. So as early childhood education gets more and more emphasis in the education world, these collaboratives are forming, and there are several around DuPage County. Addison is one of the groups that has been at this the longest.
And why is the target on early childhood education? Because it's fascinating. As you said, it's gotten more attention. We realize the ramifications long after children, get into elementary school, middle school. Talk about that a little bit, about why it's so important to target young children and their families.
Well, we know from recent science that about 90% of brain development happens before age 5. And there is a lot of social and emotional learning that happens between newborn and age 5. So as much as we can prepare children to be ready for school, that's going to help them be more successful. And we want to make sure that we're eliminating any gaps that kids might encounter or that they might be bringing to school when they start. We know that there are disparities in things like education and health and other factors like that. So if we can focus on getting children the resources they need and the learning they need and the supports that families need so that children are ready when they start school, that's going to help set them up for success during their school years.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about your partnership with the Dupage County Health Department. You talked about the importance of a child's health, and they have a location right here in Addison. And like you said, when you hand a family off, you're not just handing them off to the building, you're handing them off to someone you know, like Becky. So talk a little bit about that relationship.
Exactly. And the Dupage Health Department is a vital partner of ours because they provide services that address parents' general health, services like nutrition, education, and services for children, dental health, behavioral services. So there's a broad array of services that the Dupage Public Health Department provides. And we would recommend that a family contact them if, for instance, parents had questions about a child's development. If they have a 1-year-old and they're curious to know if the child is developing both physically and from a social and emotional standpoint, I could refer that family to Becky for some of their screening services that they provide.
What kinds of screenings does the health department do, Becky?
I mean, we have a variety of screenings at the health department. We do everything from child care, center consultations. We help families even do like health insurance applications for kids. So it really just depends on what the family needs, but we have, as Mary mentioned, some of them like dental health, vision and hearing, behavioral health, so some of the counseling services if a child is, acting a certain way and mom or dad's like, why are they, so aggressive or whatever it may be. So it really is a wide range of services.
And do families have to be referred to the health department or qualify in some way?
Yes, that's a great question. So all of our services have a little bit of a different eligibility requirement. And so if a family has a question, the best thing to do really is to go to our website, dupagehealth.org, to just see, are there income requirements, or, do I need to live in Dupage County, for example. Some of the different programs have some kind of eligibility requirements like that.
And you have a lot of educational information available as well. I know one of the things that you talked about at the most recent collaborative meeting was some really interesting statistics about childhood obesity, which we hear a lot about, and you don't necessarily think of in an affluent county like Dupage, but it's getting kind of out of control, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's definitely a problem even here in Dupage, even though we have that stereotype here. We know that our numbers for WIC, which is our Women, Infant, and Children Nutrition Program, we know that those obesity rates are higher for kids who are in the WIC program as opposed to just the general population. So, I mean, what's that showing us is just, maybe that population is more at risk, maybe they can't get to a grocery store or get those healthy foods. It could be a variety of things, but we also know that kids in WIC are under 5. So a lot of times people don't think, they're 2 to 5 years old, like how are they really obese or overweight? And it's just showing the need to really, start with some of those healthy behaviors at a really young age, even, 2, 3, 4 years old.
So you provide that kind of information when someone is in for something else like WIC?
So yeah, part of WIC is that there are educational components. So when they meet with their nurse or dietitian, they'll talk about what is the proper serving size for a child of that age, or even they'll give them exercise ideas. And a lot of the parents really get input on like what they want to talk about at their WIC appointment with their nurse. So it's a really great resources for families to just see, what might help them help their child be ready to learn, because they're not going to be ready to learn if they are hungry or unhealthy in another way.
Right, exactly. Now, obviously the health department does services far beyond early childhood, and while this isn't entirely related to the collaborative, you have something going on here in Addison that we wanted to let the community know about. Youth mapping, which doesn't really explain what it is. It's a fascinating project you have coming up. Tell us about it.
Right, so we are starting a project called Community Youth Mapping, and basically what that means is we're hiring 12 high school students, we're paying them, we're interviewing them like it's a real job, so they get lots of great interpersonal skills and some of those soft skills you need for employment, and we're actually having them go out to businesses and organizations in Addison to kind of find out general information like what hours are you open, are you a restaurant or a business, kind of general stuff like that, and then also what services they have for teens. So do you offer a scholarship? Do you hire young people? Do you have young people on your board? Do you have volunteer opportunities? So that we can know what are the resources available for high school students in Addison, and that eventually will go into an app so that other teens will be able to download it and kind of search the information that way.
So this is a project that the health department has come up with just in Addison, or are you doing other communities?
We're actually doing it in one other community. We're trying it in Glendale Heights, hopefully to do it more places if it works out. But we're partnering with the Addison Public Library and Northeast Dupage Family and Youth Services to really do this project. They're helping us recruit youth, and then the library is like our home base where all the kids start and end every day, and where we're going to put in all of our data. So we're trying to involve as many community partners in Addison as we can, and then we're also, like I said, we're doing it in Glendale Heights also.
So is the goal to hit every business in Addison?
That is the goal, yes.
And what is the time period for this?
So we will be sending these 12 high school students out March 29th through April 1st. It's over their spring break.
Okay.
So they'll be doing 6 hours about each day, and then also April 8th and the 15th.
Okay, so businesses should be on the lookout for these kids and know that this is a legitimate thing and be ready to answer these kinds of questions.
So we would love for every business owner and organization to, be welcoming to the young people and maybe spend 10 minutes at the most talking about what questions the young people have and just trying to, give them all the information they need, and then we're going to leave them with a little card that says you've been mapped, so that everyone can see, which places we've been to. And
okay, and then when would that data be available?
We're thinking probably around June 1st, people will be able to get the app and download it.
And is it the same kids that have collected the data that will be helping you input all this and everything?
Yes, those 12 kids will be very busy over their spring break.
For sure. Have you chosen the students already?
We're actually interviewing them right now. We're interviewing them at the library, and they are so excited to get interviewed. It's really great to see them just dress up and kind of ask, one student was like, do I just get up and leave? I've never done an interview before. So it was really, really exciting to just see how much they want to do things for their community.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Mary, before we conclude, tell us a little bit about what the collaborative has coming up. I know District 4 is gearing up for kindergarten next year, and you have a couple projects coming up that have to do with kindergarten.
We do. The Kindergarten Symposium is going to be held the morning of April 5th at the Regional Office of Education in Lombard, and that event is geared toward other professionals like Becky, so that we're helping build the relationships of the professional organizations in the community and keeping them up to speed on children's competencies that are needed in the social and emotional development area. And then on May 17th, the school district and many of the partners are holding Kindergarten University, which is for parents in Addison that want to learn about kindergarten and what they should know to help their children be as well equipped as possible. So that's on May 17th from 6 to 8 that evening.
And is that something that parents need to register for, or do they just show up for it?
That is something that they need to register for, and they'll see communication coming from the school district in the weeks preceding May 17th.
And it talks about kindergarten readiness, the things that they need to know to have their child prepared?
Exactly.
Great.
Yep. So it goes into a lot of practical information about what parents can be doing at home, and just helping parents understand the very simple and everyday things that they can be doing with their children to prepare them for kindergarten. And then we'll also educate parents about things that go on in kindergarten so they know what to expect when their kids are there.
Yeah, it's very different. I mean, I know when we were kids, it was, you know, nap time and playtime, and kids really, it's all about education now, right from day one.
It is different. There is still a good emphasis on play and the social and emotional skills that are so necessary and that are really the foundation of the educational skills the kids develop. But it is different than it's certainly when I was in kindergarten, for sure. So as much as we can communicate with families about what to expect, it is a transition period for families and for children. So as much as we can help them understand what to expect and help work together really in partnership through that transition, all the better.
Right. Well, thank you both very much for being here. As I said, this will be a recurring segment here on ACTV. We'll be learning more in the coming months about the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative. Thanks for being with us.